Hi. Now the petrol prices are more than 100 rupees. Some people may think about how it is going to affect them because in the last 2 months the complete lockdown they never used any vehicle. They are completely inside the house. So they may think that how it is going to affect my personal life. But that is not the case. Because the petrol price is a kind of one part of core industry. Whatever the price fluctuation in the petrol, it is going to affect each one of us. How it works? Because petrol and diesel is a primary fuel for all kind of logistic vehicles. You just imagine it right now in India or in a major metro cities like a Chennai or a Bangalore or Bombay, or you take any major metro cities, per day the number of lorries or a goods vehicle which is coming inside the city is more than 8 to 10,000 lorries. 10,000 lorries are coming inside and another 10,000 goes outside. So what they bring in? They bring all the essential items which is needed for crores of people those who are living in the metro cities. So if you feel that you are not using any petrol vehicle or a diesel vehicle during the lockdown, so how it is going to affect you? The petrol prices. Definitely these goods vehicle, whatever the goods they are carrying to your house, their rental and the prices definitely going to increase whenever there is a price of fuel is increases. Okay, you name it, even the onion, what you are consuming in your kitchen or any other goods in and around inside your home, everything comes through the goods vehicle. Keep it in your mind. So in that aspect, the fuel price hike, it is going to affect each and every walks of the life, starting from the Ambanis up to the next door peon. Everybody going to suffer when the prices are increasing. Now, you may wonder whether do we have such a kind of product which is going to affect every walks of life. Is it only the petrol and diesel? That is not the case. We have 8 different products like this that is called core industries normally in economics. So what are the 8 products there? These 8 products are, the first primary one is iron and steel, next is cement, third is electricity, fourth is fertilizer. These four is considered as one group. Another four comes from coal, refinery products, natural gas, and crude oil. So these 8 products, if you closely observe it, these price fluctuation of these 8 products, it is going to affect each and every walks of the life, whatever it may be, what kind of profession, what kind of service you are into that. Definitely you need to pay the price whenever these 8 core industries are fluctuating in their prices. Okay, who is controlling the prices of these core industries? Of course, the people used to say it is primarily controlled by the market, but indirectly the government is having the largest say in this price value. For example, I can say whenever during the election time, the petrol prices will never increase. Once the elections are over, immediately the prices may increase. That means even though the markets are controlling it, indirect hands are played by the government of India as well. Excuse me. Okay. Now, these 8 products, what they do, since we call them as a core industries, they have the capacity to decide the entire country's economy, economic growth, economic development, economic prosperity of the country can be decided by these 8 products. That is why we call them as a core industry. So there is another term called gross domestic product, GDP. GDP decides the country's economic growth and development in a to an extent clear cut manner. How it works, whether the country is growing fast or the country is going backward. Okay, that can be easily identified by calculating the GDP with a proper method. So GDP means what? In a given financial year, say for example April 1st to March 31st is a financial year in India. During this financial year, the entire geographical boundary within India, the total production, the total value of production of goods and services put together, it is considered as GDP. Okay, so here the goods means all items related with manufacturing items, you can say, or services means any kind of consultation or whoever dealing with invisible products. like a doctor's consultation or a tourism or a banking or a software, IT industries, all those stuff will comes under the services. Manufacturing means like the kind of products what we are manufacturing, or what kind of products we are seeing it in and around us, like a mobile or a watch or a car, automobiles, anything which is visibly present in and around us, it is all comes under the manufacturing products. Which is invisible, it is considered as a services. So all put together, all their values put together in a given financial year, it is called GDP, gross domestic product. Now, the worldwide, if you take the whole entire world economy, the total value of GDP of the entire earth, the entire world, all the global communities together, it comes around $87 trillion. 1 trillion means, you can simply keep it in your mind, 1 trillion is equal to 1,000 billion. 1 billion, it's 100 crore. Okay, so you can calculate yourself what is the actual value of $1 trillion. Okay, so the worldwide, all the countries will calculate their GDP in terms of trillion. So, out of these 210 plus countries which is under UN, the top 10 countries are possess almost more than 67% of global economic value, that is GDP. Which are the countries? The first one is US, second is China, third is Japan, fourth is Germany, fifth is UK, sixth and seventh, more or less, it's a tilly-telling between India and France. Some textbooks are mentioning it is in India. Some other data shows it's a France. We can keep it as a France and India, sixth and seventh. And eighth, ninth, tenth, it goes for Italy, Canada, and Brazil. Okay, these countries are coming under this. Overall, the top 10 countries. Okay, and the ninth and 10th places, sometimes plus or minus, it goes to the different countries. So overall, these 10 countries put together, they occupy around 67% of total GDP of the entire earth. You just imagine it. Remaining 200 plus countries are occupying the rest of the value. It is clear. That means these 10 countries, whatever they do, they have a greatest economic impact on each and every walks of the life across the globe. That is the meaning of it. Now, even though these countries are possessing the huge amount of GDP, there is another measurement is there. It is normally the economists used to say it is like budget economics, budgenomics, or it is always called MAC index. What do you mean by that? It is otherwise called, you can known as purchasing power parity. That means what? Suppose you take the basket of currencies, say for example $1 and compare it with Indian currency. Say for example $1, if you convert into Indian rupee, probably you will get around 100 plus rupees. Say for example 100 rupees and equal to the amount of $. So with 100 rupees, like a city like Chennai or in a Bangalore or in Trivandrum, what kind of products or goods you can purchase? It's the same corresponding value of $. In a US country, some other city, what kind of products you may get it for $1 to $1.5, because that is a corresponding value for 100 rupees. So if you compare it in 100 rupees, if I'm not wrong, probably we can survive by having a breakfast, lunch and dinner in any major metro cities. To an extent it is possible. If you search a proper place, it's possible. Whereas by keeping $1.5 approximately anywhere in the US, is it possible to survive for the whole day with a breakfast, lunch and dinner? It's a big question mark. Probably, mostly you may have one cup of coffee. The two, if you search it, you may get it. So if you compare the money value when it comes to the purchasing power, that is called purchasing power parity. It is clear. So now the worldwide, there is another kind of measurement. It is coming into the place that is called PPP model. Under this model, which are the countries are leading in terms of GDP? If you calculate, China occupy the first place, second is US, Third, it goes to the European Union. European Union is not a separate country, it is a kind of economic conglomerate. So, if you leave European Union, India come into the picture of the third largest purchasing power parity economy. Okay, so that's a wonderful news. But in a current scenario, what is the actual position of India during this pandemic? Okay, what happened to our GDP? The recent RBI report, it shows that India's GDP growth rate has drastically reduced because of continuous lockdown, and there is a severe economic crisis across India, not only in India, across the globe, that affected badly the country like India, particularly based on the second wave as well as the first wave. If you see that the RBI report shows that our economic growth contracted almost more than 20%. And in terms of GDP value, it has come down to minus 7.3%. You just imagine it. We were in the growth pace of around 6 to 7% prior to the corona period, but now it has come down to around minus 7.3%. So in terms of the percentage and statistics, we leave it behind. The rough estimate, it shows that approximately the total business loss which has happened to India, it is approximately around 8 to 10 lakh crore rupees. You just imagine that such a huge amount of business loss it happened in the last 1 year. This is as per the RBI report and the various economic indicators. Okay, so now, but at the same time, during this kind of severe crisis period itself, if you see the few industrialists in India, say for example, Gautam Adani Group or the Reliance or Infosys or TCS, if you see them, their growth rate is phenomenal. Particularly the Gautam Adani's asset value growth alone, in the last 1 year, his asset values grown by almost 6 times. You just imagine it. 6 times means almost 600%. That much of growth they have achieved. Okay, but that is not the case across India for all the industrial sectors. Particularly, there is something called MSME, micro, small, and medium enterprises. So this particular segment badly affected because of the continuous lockdown and the lack of proper support from the government. In fact, if you observe the last first lockdown last year, the Union government announced a series of measures. It's a kind of financial relief package for the entire MSME sectors. But in the second lockdown, nothing is announced so far. That means the industries are almost crippled and they are collapsed and they were in a struggling position. Okay, that is why the GDP has drastically gone down to minus 7.3%. Now, what to do to make the Indian economy into the recovery phase? Okay, when this question was asked to the Indian Nobel Laureate on Economics, Mr. Abhijit Banerjee, okay, what he told, now there is no money with the people's hand. We have to hand over the money to the peoples, like what the Western countries are doing it. Say, for example, in US, they are giving people almost per week around $500 to $600. So the way this money goes, the money again the people will tend to spend on the ground. Okay, when they are spending it, again there are great chances that economy can revive and can be properly stimulated. So recently, if you take Tamil Nadu government, they have followed the same step. They have given for all the ration holder almost 4,000 rupees they have given in a 2 installment as a 2,000 rupees. Okay, so that 2,000 rupees what they have paid to the each card holder, certainly it is going to come to the market again. So it is a kind of small initiation. How far it is going to helpful for stimulating the economy, it is a different story altogether, but it is a proper step in a proper direction. In fact, even the Nobel laureate, what he was telling it, giving one time this case transfer is not suitable, not beneficial, because the people are already in a pandemic cycle. What they will do, they will try to keep this money in a piggy bank. That means they don't spend it. They have a fear. The next lockdown may come, what to do? So for that purpose, what they will do, they'll take the 2000 rupees or 3000 rupees, whatever you are giving it, they will keep it in a piggy bank. The money may not come out of the house and it may not be spent properly in the market. So what the Nobel laureate, he was telling it, he is claiming it. This kind of case transfer, the government of union government as well as state government should do not one time. It should be done in a multiple times, maybe monthly once or once in a few weeks, till the economy coming into the proper trajectory. Okay, so that the economy can be revived properly. So this is a tip given by Nobel laureate. I hope this message would reach the government of India and they will consider it proper steps together towards this direction. Okay. So now, apart from this, to revive the economy, what need to be done for the MSME? So now the MSME, what they are demanding it, they need a cheap loan with the interest free or cheaper interest, and the government policy decision to adopt their industrial model, say kind of a free electricity or a free land or a free what do you call it, clearance support. So a lot of steps need to be taken so that the MSME can withstand on their own leg and they can come up with the proper idea, and because they are the group of people, they have the engine to stimulate so that the Indian economy will be taken in the top gear. So we have to wait and watch what the government of India is going to do in terms of this GDP reduction and GDP slide. We have to somehow stop this GDP slide so that we can bring back entire Indian economy in a proper shape. Thank you. See you in the next episode.